Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. All right, folks, so many people are talking about the massive church fire that took place in Paris at the Notre Dame Cathedral. But here in the United States, 3 black churches burned in the state of Louisiana. And hate crimes charges have been filed against the man, the son of a local sheriff. Prosecutors say Holden Matthews, a 21-year-old son of a deputy sheriff, was motivated by racism. It's an online history of interest in white supremacist-leaning websites, and it's unfortunate this is taking place. And again, this has been going on. It took place last week. Gotten some attention. Now we have someone who was under arrest as well. One of the churches took, of course, it took place in Opelousas, Louisiana, which is actually where my grandparents are from. So know that area well. The focus here, of course, for so many people is what will be done to rebuild these churches. There's a long, long history of course, black churches being burned as a result for a variety of reasons. Black churches became the symbol of black liberation, and white supremacists have long attacked them. In fact, that was a social media campaign social media thread the other day. It talked about what took place in Opelousas years ago, where African Americans were attacked. So I'm going to pull it up for a second to show you exactly what took place. So we're talking about history here of what is taking place. It's called the Opelousas Massacre. Took place in 1868, September 28th, 1868, where 27 black prisoners were executed. Okay? And you had massive attacks, up to 300 black folks who were killed in Opelousas, Louisiana. It was called the Opelousas Riot. And again, why did it take place? All because black folks were actually trying to vote. And so that's one of the things that we have seen all across this country. In a moment, we're going to talk to the pastor of one of those churches. I want to bring in my panel today, Dr. Chris Metzler. He's a conservative analyst. Kelly Bethea, she is a communication strategist. And Dr. Julianne Malveaux, economist, president emerita, Bennett College. Chris, I'll start with you. We have been seeing this rise in hate crimes all across this country. White domestic terrorists. You have the FBI, of course, trying to target so-called black extremists, but you've had civil rights organizations saying, no, what about these white domestic terrorists? And you have the Trump administration, frankly, not doing enough to target them. And so to have this 21-year-old man, the son of a deputy sheriff, a white supremacist, to attack these 3 black churches, it speaks to this climate that we have in America in 2019.
Well, in fact, it does speak to the climate that we have. You know, as it relates to white domestic terrorists, you know, we go all the way back to, of course, Timothy McVeigh. And, you know, we seem to, in fact, have an increase. I believe that the Justice Department should be vigorous in its efforts against anyone. I don't care what the color of their skin is. I don't care about any of that. The question is, are they engaging in domestic terrorism? If they are, then the FBI has an obligation to deal with it.
And Julianne, look, but the reality is we have seen this repeatedly. You see the increase in anti-Semitism. You see the increase in white supremacist groups. You look at, of course, Heather Heyer being killed in Charlottesville. You had the folks marching there. I mean, what we are dealing with here, and I keep saying this, I'm actually working on a book on this, we're dealing with white fear. We're dealing with folks in this country who cannot handle the changing demographics in this country. We have seen this historically when you have people of color, African Americans, Latinos, and others who are demanding full citizenship. We're seeing the striking back. And so you have this guy here, you got Dylan Roof. We can go on and on and on. White domestic terrorism is a problem in the United States.
But they don't want to use the terms white domestic terrorism. As you said before, they will say black identity extremists, but they won't say white domestic terrorists. And these are terrorists, but there is a very long history of white terrorism. We can go back to post-Reconstruction and look at what happened I'm glad you mentioned the Opelousas massacre. My family from Louisiana is from that part of Louisiana as well. But there's so many cases that we can document, Tulsa, Oklahoma, on and on and on. But here's the problem. Law enforcement has been part of that group of white domestic terrorists. So no, Brother Doc on the panel, the FBI is not going to investigate because so they'd be investigating themselves. The police are not going to investigate, they'd be investigating themselves. The fact that a sheriff's son is responsible for these church burnings makes you wonder what kind of Wheaties they eat at their house, what they say at the dinner table. I mean, clearly law enforcement, so-called law enforcement, often goes hand in hand with white domestic terrorism.
Kelly, here's a tweet from Derek Johnson. I'm going to pull up in just a second. Derek Johnson, of course, is the president and CEO of the NAACP. And this is what he just sent out. It says the recent hate crimes charges against Holden Matthews for the Louisiana black church burnings reinforces the hate-fueled times we live in. Domestic terrorism is real, and we must continue to push Congress to thwart these vicious attacks, especially those against people of color. Kelly?
I don't disagree. I mean, this has been something that's been going on for pretty much centuries since we landed off the boats. And the fact that we are still in a position where we still have to say or try to convince people to say that this is a terrorist act because it's a white person. It's insulting, and it's really egregious. The fact that we still have to deal with something so traumatic, so inhumane, and to have people still say that, oh, it's a lone wolf act. Oh, this person clearly wasn't well. No, he did something in light of what he learned from his own society, probably his father included, as a sheriff. So there are no excuses for him. There are no excuses for this type of act, and it not only needs to be investigated, he needs to be prosecuted to the utmost extent of the law.
And again, folks, of course, the man who allegedly did his crime, 21 years old, and charged with a hate crime, the son of a deputy sheriff. And of course, they say motivated by racism. Want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.